Welcome to Time to Press Pause, a podcast for CEOs by CEOs. I'm your host, Ellen Williams, CEO of The Salient Strategist, and today I'm speaking with Hilary Topper. She is the CEO of HJMT PR and the Chief Curator of HJMT Media Company. She's an author of 2 blogs and 3 books, including her memoir, From Couch Potato to Endurance Athlete. And she's also the host of the Hilary Topper On Air podcast. Hilary, welcome. It's so great to see you.
Thank you so much, Ellen. I appreciate you having me on your show.
It's great to see you, and I'm so glad you're here. I've known Hilary for many years, and she's been an inspiration to me as she's a podcast host, and I'm jumping into this bandwagon. But I know as a CEO that you've had, as many CEOs do, lots of decisions to make and lots of different pressures, but I'd love for you to share a time when you needed to press pause.
Yeah, so I started HJMT back in 1992, and I started the firm out of a home office, and we continuously grew. And as we grew, we, got bigger. We took on more space. We were working actually in Melville at the time, and I had actually Westbury when I really changed my life. I took a pause. We were in Westbury. I had about 25 people working for me at the time, and the business was doing really, really well. And I felt like I was constantly hustling. Like all I was doing was going to breakfast, lunch, dinners, networking event. I mean, it was just insane the amount of networking that I was doing. And I felt like I was just doing this for everybody else. I had about 6 senior people who were making decent salaries at the time, and then I had a lot of administrative people, and I was feeling like I was just trying to get enough money so that I could feed everybody. And then I also felt like I needed to feed my kids and my family, and I needed to take care of my parents. And it got to the point where I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. And I decided that I was going to change my life. And I did that by I saw these people running. This is just the craziest thing. I saw them running on the Wandsworth Parkway, and I really wanted to be a runner. And I didn't know how to get started because I was never athletic in school. I was always, the brainiac. I just wasn't.
No surprise there.
Yeah, the nerd, the book nerd. Anyway, so I never worked out, and I decided to join a gym for the first time, and I hired a personal trainer, and he said to me, go jump on the treadmill. And I look at this treadmill and I don't know what to do with it. I was 48 years old. This was the first time I was in a gym. So I asked the runner next to me, she's running, she's like sweating all over the place. I mean, it was really embarrassing. And I'm like, excuse me, could you help me turn this on? She did. She was really gracious. And that's kind of how it started for me. We ended up moving to Melville, and I started to get more and more into running. And then I tried out my first triathlon at age 53.
Amazing.
And I did the triathlon. I absolutely loved it. And I decided I really want to do more of these. So the point that I paused was the point where I said, enough. I can't do this anymore. It's getting too much. I had been doing it since 1992. And this was 2014 when I started to think, oh, I'm so, I can't, I got to change because I'm dying in this mix, right?
Yeah.
So I really needed to think about how to make me happy. It wasn't as intense at home, and the business, I had these people working for me and I really had them step up a little bit more. I really needed them to start looking for business, not just me. I wanted to try to have some kind of a succession plan.
Did you have to go through any kind of training with them since you said you were the one doing all the breakfasts and dinners and all of that?
Oh, yeah. We spent a long time. We had weekly staff meetings and then I had one-on-ones with everybody. And I really had to wean them into, to doing that. And I think what happened was they weren't as hungry because they were getting their salaries,
Right.
as I was,
They
because
didn't have to make payroll, right?
exactly, exactly. So
Mhm.
they maybe they brought in a little business here and there, but nothing that was sustainable. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I love what I'm doing right now. I love the direction that I'm going. And I ended up, going for certifications in triathlon as a triathlon coach, as a swim coach, as a running coach. And it's something that I really love and makes me feel good, both physically and mentally. And as I started getting really into this, the business started to go downhill a little bit.
Mm,
And we ended up where I wasn't going out and hustling as much as I was before.
right.
And we ended up getting a smaller office. And then, eventually I moved the offices back into everybody, into the home. So, I mean, I still have a few people working for me and everybody works out of their home at this point. And to me, I feel like the pressure is off. I'm so much happier now, that I'm doing this. I wrote a book, From Couch Potato to Endurance Athlete, which has, documents my whole entire journey. And now I'm working on another book. My publisher wants me to write a book about how to become a triathlete. So that's my new book.
Wow, excellent.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. And I'm also, so I kind of reinvented myself, I'm still doing the public relations. I'm having Lisa Gordon, my senior VP, work more on the business. And, eventually she's going to take over that side of the business. And I've been really focusing on my blogs and my podcast and my coaching business and just my writing and doing that type of thing and just really enjoying myself for the first time in my life.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a good ending, right? That's
yeah, yeah, for sure.
press pause and enjoy yourself for the first time in your life. But your pause wasn't a short one.
No, it was a
You
long pause.
definitely, yeah, you had to, as you said, reinvent yourself. So, really interesting, and certainly your skills in public relations. And I heard, with your new endeavors, coaching and speaking and writing and blog. I mean, it's you're carrying those skills forward just in a different way.
Yeah,
And I'm really excited to hear succession planning and the business continues even without you having to do all that hard work. That's a really
exactly.
great outcome. And someone else gets, elevated within the organization. So really, really great outcome. That's an amazing press pause. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for sharing that story. Um, as I mentioned, Hilary and I have been friends for a long time, and she has another press pause story, more recent, and has agreed to share something a little more personal. So I thank you for that, Hilary, and
Yeah.
welcome another press pause story from.
Thank you. Thank you, Ellen. So yeah, about 5 years ago, my sister, this happened. It happened actually around our birthdays. We were both born on the same day, and
But
about a
not
week.
twins.
No, we weren't twins,
Wow.
but about 5 years ago, she was having these massive headaches, and it was going on for a week. I mean, she had a fight with somebody at work, and it just escalated from that fight that she had with somebody at work, another colleague, to so anyway, so the headache gets intense. She goes to multiple doctors. She goes to multiple ER emergency rooms, and they don't know what's wrong with her. They think it's just migraines. They sent her on her way. The Monday that she collapsed, she went to the neurologist, and he said, "Oh, it's just a migraine. No worries. We'll get you an MRI at the end of the week." That Monday, I spoke to her. We had a conversation, and about an hour later, she was on the phone with her boss, and she passed out. And the boss hung up the phone, called her boyfriend at the time, and he called a neighbor who came to check in on her. At that point, she was foaming at the mouth, and they called the 911, and she was taken to Plainview Hospital, where they said that she needed to get rushed to North Shore Hospital because it looked like she was having a brain aneurysm, a rupture. She ended up they did this, at that point, they actually asked us what we wanted to do when we get to North Shore. Like, do you think do you want to operate? If you don't operate, she will die. So let us know what you want to do. And at the time, we just couldn't make a decision. It was one of those things that you hear about, you have to make a decision whether your loved one dies or lives. It was very, very intense. And we were having a hard time. And then we came to the decision that she really had so much blood in her brain that she wouldn't be the same person anyway. So just let her be at that point. And the doctor comes in right as we make the decision, and she says, I see something. I think that her pupils are dilating. I think we should do the surgery. So we said, okay, great. Let's go ahead.
Okay.
They do the surgery, and they tell us it's successful. They say if she wakes up within 24 hours, then she'll be okay. She never woke up. So that went on for 3 weeks, where she laid in a hospital bed and we're in a coma and with tubes coming out of her head. It was just a horrendous, horrendous thing.
Heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking. She was only 59 years old. So it was just devastating. And to watch it was just horrible. So anyway, the long and the short of it was that she did pass away a couple of days after our birthday. She celebrated her 60th birthday, which is just really heartbreaking, in palliative care.
Yeah.
Anyway, so fast forward, this past September, I had this explosive headache. And, you get these headaches and you think, oh my God, this is it, like aneurysm time, right?
Right.
So I did go to the emergency room, and they took a CAT scan, and they found an aneurysm that was misshaped. A lot of people have aneurysms. I mean, it's more common than you think. It's just like a little pimple that appears on a blood vessel, like an artery, usually an artery. And so this one was misshapen, and the chances of it rupturing were high. So I was advised to do surgery before it ruptured. And
That
I
must have been
knew,
really scary.
oh, it was horrible. It was very scary, very, very stressful. I was besides myself. And, I was just having flashbacks of my poor sister
Of
lying
course.
there. So I decided I interviewed a bunch of doctors. I ended up not using the doctor from North Shore because of my sister, because she passed away in North Shore. I couldn't see myself in the same ICU area
Sure.
that she was in. I just couldn't do it. So I ended up going to Mount Sinai. I called an organization called the B Foundation, and they were wonderful. They were just so supportive. And what they do is it's two sisters whose cousin was 27 years old and died of an aneurysm. So they formed this foundation called the B Foundation, and it basically provides surgeons with research dollars to do research to try to, find something that could help stop this from happening to other people.
Yeah.
And they also do, awareness, aneurysm awareness, which is really important because, again, I think I mentioned to you before the interview that if my sister had known, or if we had known that it was an aneurysm, we would have at least done something, but
Right.
nobody knew. It was not, it was just, it was a small little pimple that she had that nobody saw on any of the scans, and that was an issue. So anyway, so I had the surgery. It was a major brain surgery where they put a stent in the back of my head to divert the flow away from the aneurysm, and basically, so that it wouldn't be fed blood and it would eventually die. So since then, I've been dealing with headaches, that just don't go away.
Hmm.
I have very, very bad fatigue. It's only been about 8 weeks since surgery, and I'm suspecting that it's going to take probably 6 months to a year to fully recover. I'm hoping that I fully recover. There
Yeah.
are some people in the foundation, they do have a support group, and I've been attending it. And one of the women was saying that she had the same exact surgery, and 9 years later, she still has the fatigue. I'm hoping
Wow.
that that doesn't happen to me because I
Wow.
can't be. Yeah. But the good thing is that I'm back to training. I'm able to get up and I'm able to swim, bike, and run,
I
which is
was going to
something that
ask
I
if you were back
love.
to running. I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, yeah. And I just started a swimming group where I'm teaching swimming. And, I mean, I'm teaching at Hofstra still. I've been teaching there for about, almost 10 years at this point. And the only thing, after 2 hours of teaching, I definitely am like done. I come home, I can't even talk to anybody, which I feel bad about, but I'm like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, no reason to feel bad about that. I mean, you're talking to me 8 weeks after brain surgery, and this has been an amazing conversation. Your energy is so great. I'm so happy about the success
Thank
of
you.
the surgery and the fact that you knew to pause immediately. I'm very sorry about the circumstances that led you to that awareness.
Mhm.
But I'm so happy that you took it to heart and said, okay, I'm not going to go down that same path. And now hopefully, sharing your story will help other people think about maybe this headache might be need more than an
Something more.
Advil. I know I'm popping Advils when I get a headache, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, somebody said to me, your sister saved your life. And, in a way she did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an
So,
amazing way to look at it. And as heartbreaking as the story of your sister was, that's a little heart fulfilling, right? That
yeah.
that it was her scenario that gave you the awareness that
Yeah,
did save
for
your life.
sure. For sure. And now this September, I am organizing a fun run walk. So it's not like timed or anything. And it's going to be at Heckscher Park on September 14th. And I'm hoping that we get, a couple of dozen people just to support the cause, get some fun swag, walk away with a bagel. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing both stories, one professional, personal, and one totally personal, and just the importance of pressing pause, being present, understanding where you are. It can be life-changing, or it could be, something simple. But in any case, when you're feeling like things aren't feeling right, then it's time to press pause.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Time to Press Pause. To learn more about Hilary Topper, go to HJMT.com. To learn more about me, go to thesalientstrategist.com. And be sure to join us again wherever you listen to your podcasts.